I'm Cathy.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Orla, and welcome to Lunar Book Club.
It's New Year's Day, and we thought it'd be a good chance for us to review our favourite books of 2025. These aren't books that were necessarily published in 2025.
No, they're just books that we've read.
Yeah, so the favourite of the books we read in 2025. I'm also limiting mine down to books I've read for the first time in 2025. Because I reread some really good books this year, like Jurassic Park and Wuthering Heights. But I can't put them up against every book I read, because that doesn't seem fair. I only have one of the books.
And I only have two.
Because mine were library books.
Yeah, my middle one was a library book.
Okay, so I'll say my third favourite book of the year was Hare House by Sally Hinchcliffe. This was set in Scotland, and it's kind of about witches. So this woman who's had to escape her life because she's been disgraced in her teaching profession kind of runs away to a remote Scottish village and kind of falls in with the family of a manor house, and all sorts of weird occurrences start happening. And there's a weird past to the family in the manor house, and there's a weird past to this teacher, and it all kind of comes together in like this growing horrific event spiralling out of control. And it's really mysterious, really ambiguous, unreliable narrator. And the moment I finished it, I kind of wanted to reread the whole thing again and kind of put together the clues in a different way to how I'd first read them. Really intriguing, well done novel, very creepy, gothic, folklore, all the things I really enjoyed. Yeah.
My number 3 is Second First Impressions by Sally Thorne, which is a cute little rom-com set at
Turtles on the cover.
It does have turtles on the cover, and it has turtles in the book as well.
Oh, nice.
This book is set at a retirement village where the main character works. She's 24, 25, and is like a little old lady instead of a young, vibrant lady. So the retirement village has been bought by some big, evil business corporation, and the son of the CEO of that comes to work at the retirement village, and yeah, it's just really sweet. He's really sweet, and the main character's really sweet, and the second female character's really sweet, and the old people are really sweet, and I just liked it all.
Nice.
It was nice. I would read it again.
My second favourite book of the year has been The Foxwife by Yang Zixou. This book, I've been reading it for like the last 4 weeks, and I've just absolutely loved it. So it's set in China in 1908, and roughly based on this Chinese folklore myth of fox people who are a bit like the Selkie myth. Foxes who can turn into people, seduce humans, can kind of drain their life force, and then always escape back to the wild. In this book, you've got a fox lady called Snow, who's on her own quest for revenge, and she's trying to track down a person who's wronged her. And then you've got this detective called Bo. He is in his 60s, and he has this strange ability where he can hear if somebody's lying.
Ooh.
And he is tracking down what has happened to a woman who turned up dead on the doorstep of a restaurant in the middle of the night, and the restaurant owner really wants to know who this girl was and why did she end up here. So he's tracking down her story, and Snow's tracking down her person, and these two perspectives are going to kind of come together. And I just loved everything about it. I loved the atmosphere, I loved these two main characters, the way the folklore builds on each other, and every time I read a chapter of this, I just felt really immersed in the story and in its place. So really, really enjoyed this book, and I was so glad. I went into it almost completely blind, and it was really, really good.
My second favourite book of the year was Managing Expectations by Minnie Driver. A lot of my books are ones that I've read quite recently, so it might just be recency bias because I can't remember what I read at the beginning of the year. This is a book written about times in Minnie Driver's life where things haven't necessarily gone the way that she might have hoped them to, and how that doesn't necessarily really mean that everything's dead and gone forever. But yeah, I found it really interesting. There's like 10 little episodes of her life, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. It made me, I've never really read much autobiography before, and it just made me think, why not? Why haven't I done that?
I like reading biographies too, like, especially about somebody who's interesting. I think that's the thing. It needs to be about somebody who can talk eloquently about their life. But yeah, that's cool.
There was this bit where she was like 10, and her dad lived in Barbados, so she was in Barbados with her dad or something, and then because she'd fallen out with her dad's girlfriend, he then sent her home by herself, but there wasn't a direct flight from Barbados to London, so she had to get a flight from Barbados to Miami, stay in Miami for a day, and then fly from Miami to London.
Oh gosh.
She was just like an unattended minor, just in this fancy hotel, but her dad's credit card was on file, so she was just being a child.
Could not imagine doing that to Orla. Here are 2 books that Orla's read recently that she loves. Would you like to tell us about them?
Yeah. So it's called Wildsmith, and it's about, well, the first one is this girl called Rowan. She lives in a little city called Halderby, and then the Estrians come to like invade the city, and she has to go with her mother into a forest where her grandpa lives, but she's never met her grandpa before, and then it all feels different. And her grandpa is a thing called a wildsmith. This means that he can like talk to animals, find out how they're feeling, and then she finds out that she's a wildsmith, and then she goes on adventures with her friends, like saving animals.
So these are the books I always really enjoyed this year, the Wildsmith books. And then my top favourite book of the year has been Northwoods by Daniel Mason. So I read this over the summer and it just blew me away. It's set in Massachusetts. I can never say this word. Massachusetts. I can't say this word. In America. And it basically tracks one plot of land through like hundreds of years. So it starts with 2 Puritan settlers on the run. They've fallen in love and like they're running away from their disapproving families, and they settle on this land and build a little cabin on it. And then it keeps jumping forward in time to the different people who live on this same bit of land. A house gets built there, and like the past lives kind of haunt the new land, and there's all kinds of like magical things that happen there. And every section of the book is told in like a different style, and a lot of it is like found literature, so it's like a diary entry or letters or an article. It's almost as if it's all the found documents that relate to this one single house. And there's ghosts and folklore and myths and legends all interwoven in there, and it kind of jumps forward in time at the end. So it's got a little bit of like Cloud Atlas vibes, but like more focused in at just like one place. And just really, really engaging. And I think if I read it again, I would spot a lot more clues and interconnections, and some of the ones that appear later on are really funny because like the characters have no idea like why is this old man ghost really cross about us about this apple tree, but we know why. So yeah, really, really enjoyed that book. It was really, really clever. That was my favourite book. I don't have it because it was a library book, but it is on my wish list to buy eventually.
Wow, that means it was good.
Yes.
My top book goes to Devotion by Hannah Kent. This is about old Lutheran community in Germany who their pastor's been sent to prison because they're being persecuted or whatever, but then some sponsor from England gives them money to get passage to go and colonise Australia. At the beginning, a new family moves to the town, and the mother of the new family has something called the Book of Moses or something, which is it's a real thing, or the 6th and 7th books of Moses, which is associated with like Christian witchcraft and things like that, or the book. I can't remember specifically, but. So there's some suspicion in the village about the mother, but when you meet her character, like she does seem to have a true Christian faith. So this community goes on this voyage, and it's based on real history, Cathy.
Nice. I can tell you must have liked it because you folded down pages.
Yeah. So there was this. there was a old Lutheran community who went on a boat to Australia, and it was overcrowded, and there was disease, and food went bad, and people died. So it's about that, and then they get to Australia, and the land that they've been given is really terrible, so they try and pool money together to buy some better land. And then there's, let me try and say this right, the Paramank Nations people, who are the indigenous people in Australia, are kind of like skirting around them and showing some of the more open-minded Germans how to like work the land properly and what food is safe and stuff like that. The story really centres on the friendship between Hannah and Thea. Hannah's the narrator, who's always been a bit of an outcast in her community, and Thea is the daughter of the new family, and when they move they strike up a real true friendship. Yeah, it's got some magical realism in it. I really liked it. There's lots of like religion in it as well. I just thought it was really nice.
The cover's beautiful as well.
It is, isn't it?
That's a really nice cover.
But yeah, I would read Hannah Kent's books again. She's got 2 others, I think, that one day I will get. One day, Hannah.
Those
are our top books of the year. What are your top books of the year? Let us know.
Let us know in the comments.
What's your top book of the year?
Pressure.
I don't know.
Great, thanks.
Thank you so much for watching.
Have a great 2026.
Yeah.
We'll see you soon. Bye. Okay, I'm ready.
So these are the books I always really enjoyed this year, the Wildsmith books. Oh, sorry.
No, Cathy.
Sorry.
You look so disappointed.